Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to use this really cute pregnant lady mold that has the heart where you can put, the sonogram picture inside her belly. The theme that I want to go with today is a Harry Potter piece. If you've never seen the movies, read the books, whatever, each Hogwarts is a school and that's where the predominant part of this series takes place, and there are 4 houses inside the school that the kids are divided up in, and each house has 2 different colors. There's Gryffindor that has red and gold, Slytherin has green and silver, Hufflepuff has yellow and black, and Ravenclaw has blue and bronze. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to incorporate each of these colors into this piece by house. So I'm going to be using 4 micas and 4 pigment paste because I want the different weights that you get when you use the different colorants to, kind of move around better than if I was just using straight mica, straight pigment paste or whatever. You get different effects when you put them in because it makes the weight of the resin different and how that sinks and flows and all that fun stuff. So that's what I'm going to do with this. Now, this piece is for my son and his girlfriend. They are expecting twins in late December, early January. And my son is a big Harry Potter fan, so I thought that this would be kind of cool. So if you're looking at the colors and you're like, that's kind of a weird combination of colors, there is a rhyme and reason to what I am doing. I swear it. So right now, all I did was I'm taking about 2 ounces ish of each of the colors and I am just mixing them. The pigment paste that I have is super weird. It's not really pasty, except for the gold and the silver, which come out like a paste, but then they're very, very translucent and not opaque at all, which I don't understand, but it is what it is at this point. I'm going to go with it. I should still get the various effects that I want by using it, even though they're not going to be as opaque as I wanted. It should be okay though. The weights will still be different. Like, look how much gold I'm using. And that I go back for more and it is just really, really translucent, but you can see how opaque the blue is. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so back to the resin. Now I am pouring it in again by house color. So I'm doing Gryffindor first and I'm just putting in that red, putting in the gold kind of over top of it because again, I do want it to mix and merge. Not completely. I want you to be able to see the different elements of each color, but I do want that mixture in there, and then hitting it with the silver. Now, any Harry Potter fan out there, I know that this is not the right shade of green. It should be much darker. However, it's the darkest that I could get it. I even mixed some alcohol ink into it, hoping that it would become darker. It just didn't. As far as the black goes, now I did not do 2 ounces of black. I actually did very little, probably about half of that, because black can very easily overtake the piece, and I don't want that to happen. I do apologize for the bottom portion of her body being off screen. I thought I had it centered better. Anyway, so onto the bronze and blue. I have to say that that is probably my favorite part of it. I absolutely love how it turns out. Now I'm just going back with those same colors again and filling up this mold. You do have to be careful because there is a part that it stands into. How thick that you fill it. You want to make sure that you don't overfill, but yet at the same time, you have to make it come to the top of the mold because if you do not, it will not stand in that. I've made 2 other ones that I had to completely just trash because one, I made it too thin, one, I made it too fat. I mean, granted, I probably could have sanded or added more onto it, but I didn't necessarily feel like fooling with it. Also, as far as how I am doing this piece, the part that you're looking at is going to be the front because I want the colors, like, I want you to be able to see the striations and the merging of the colors. And you're not going to get that on the back like you will the front piece. Like, it's just going to be however I poured the colors in is what you're predominantly going to see on that back. So this will be the front of my piece. I'm just going in now. I'm filling up the base with these colors before I kind of fill up the mold. And I'm not going to fill this up completely because I am going to put some vinyl on it after this part cures. So I just want to leave just a very, very, very slight amount of room in there for the clear that's going to go on top. Now, the reason that I didn't go pouring all of my colors in at one time is because I didn't want them to run. I kind of want them to stay in the position that I have them in. And so I'm just going to do it little by little, filling it up, making sure that you can see all of the colors. In the actual pregnant lady part, the black and yellow kind of gets lost in there. I guess when it's pulling in the middle and it's curing, you see a little bit of it, but nowhere near as much that's in here now. Which, I mean, it's gonna have to be okay. Resin does as resin wants, so, anytime you're doing something like that, you are kind of taking a chance of losing something in the process. So as I just continue to fill this up, did you guys notice that you're not upside down anymore? Or I'm not upside down anymore? Finally figured it out. There will be a couple spots in this video where I am actually showing the piece because of how I had to flip it, that the camera's going to go back to the way I originally had it. I can't do anything about it in this one, but I did figure it out. Just a little slow when it comes to electronic anything, really. So, but I'm getting there. I am getting there now. I know what to do and how to do it. And of course, I figured that it's a lot easier than me resetting up my whole configuration, which I did for the next few videos coming out. Well, I think there may be one or two other ones that are coming out before my new setup is, you'll be able to see it. But yeah, so there's that. Anyway, super proud of myself for that. And at the same time, I'm like, I can't believe that I didn't figure this out before. Like, I knew I could flip the screen around. I don't know. It didn't click, I guess. But anyway, so we're just filling it up, moving it around, kind of blending the colors together. I do need to get it high enough for that first little lip of the heart, which is actually the picture frame, because I want it to be in the colors that I have. I don't want that part to be clear or see-through or whatever. So I do need to make sure it at least goes up that high. So I'm just kind of pushing it over there. And then that's pretty much going to be it for this layer of resin. We are just going to kind of let it do its thing. I'm going to fiddle with it for a little bit just to, make the colors move and blend a little bit better. And here we are 24 hours later. And now I need to cut out my pictures of the babies. So because they're twins, I have to do two different pictures. I'm going over them with Mod Podge to seal these in. Now, I didn't print this out on anything other than just regular printer paper. And I do need to seal it in because I don't want them, the resin to soak it up. I want them to kind of stay. Now, because of how I have to do this and the way that this piece is going to go in, because I am enclosing this in clear resin, it's going to go through that small heart. So I kind of need to figure out how they're going to be able to both get seen in there and the placement on them and whatever. So I decided that the best thing to do is probably put one on top of the other. And right now I'm just going over with a little bit of clear resin just to coat the bottom. This part I'm going to do in two separate steps because I don't want these to float, and I just have a feeling that if I just do it in one and fill that heart the whole way up, that they're going to float, and then I'm going to have to cover it again anyway. So I am just going to do a very small thin layer, put them in, kind of push them down, move them around, get them centered how I want them to be, and flatten them out as much as possible, and then just let that cure. Now I am going over with a heat gun just to pop any bubbles, get that resin moving around, just so that it's liquefied more, like thinner. And then I'm going to place these in. Now this did take me a hot minute because they wanted to keep coming up, and it was like the top of one, the bottom of the other, it just kept popping up. And I bet you I fooled with this for a good 30 minutes and then kept going back to try and push it down. In the end, it ended up being up a little bit on both of them. And this is why I'm doing it in 2 layers as opposed to just 1 layer. As I fiddle with this and get these in set in and ready to go, I would like to ask you guys to subscribe if you have not already. It's free for you to do. It costs you nothing at all. It helps my channel tremendously. If you like the content that I'm putting out and all of that good stuff, if you could like my video, that'll let YouTube know that, you guys are enjoying my content, and I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, 24 hours later. Now, I've already printed out my vinyl, and I am going with a part of the movie where I thought that this was kind of fitting, especially for twins. That it says, "I solemnly swear that I am up to no good." And then the bottom says, "Mischief managed." If you are a Harry Potter fan, you know what this is in referring to. I thought that this was kind of a neat quote to put on there from the movie. And it's how Harry Potter can get into this map to see where everyone's at, and so that he doesn't get caught when he's sneaking around the school when he's not supposed to be. So I thought that this was cute for twins. I thought it was very fitting, especially boy twins on top of all of that. And yeah, I think it turns out super, super, super cute. So the vinyl that I'm using is actually a metallic textured vinyl. And with that, you have to use there's two different kinds of transfer tape. There's the normal one, and then there's, I guess, like an extra sticky one. So that's the one that I have to use for this. And when you do it, it's easier. Like, I've already used this piece of transfer tape, so it's not as bad, but watch how hard you push down. Obviously, you want to push down hard enough that your letters or whatever your image is going to stick, but you don't want to push down too hard, because if you do, especially if it's still in the mold, it is really a struggle to get it off because that transfer tape sticks so, so strongly. So I kind of run my finger over it lightly so that I'm not gonna like pull up and ruin that seal that the mold is, around the resin right now. I don't want to do that. So here we are. Now I'm done with that. Now for the twins, just to kind of identify which one's which, because it got cut off when I had to shrink it down into size. I thought that it would be kind of cute, and it's not a Harry Potter reference, but it is a Dr. Seuss reference, putting thing 1 and thing 2 instead of baby A or baby B, because they don't have names picked out yet. They haven't decided. So I thought thing 1 and thing 2 was really cute. So I kind of went with that for the babies. I like it. I think it looks super, super cool. So now it's time to seal all of this in, and we're just going to get some more of the NicPro Crystal Clear Finish Resin and put it on there. Now, all right, I know you're looking at it and you're like, oh my God, there are a crazy, ridiculous amount of bubbles in it. It's not the resin's fault. It's my fault. I mixed it up really fast. My husband got me one of the motorized mixers for my birthday a couple of weeks ago. And I was using that, and then I was moving it around on top of that, which you're not supposed to do. And I was like, well, it'll be fine, because he also got me that Resineers vacuum chamber, right? So I was like, I'll just put it in there. Well, I put it in there for like 10 minutes, and because of the amount of bubbles that I incorporated in it, they were all rising to the top, but it was already 10 minutes, and I'm new to using it, so I didn't know how long I could put it down there, and I didn't want to flash cure and all this other crazy stuff. So I pulled it out before all the bubbles had gone away. So it's completely my fault on how this is. It's a thin layer. I'm not necessarily worried about those bubbles. They're going to come out. I'm going to hit it with a heat gun. And because it's such a thin layer, it's not like they have to travel really, really far to pop on their own. So it's fine. It comes out with no bubbles. So don't like, oh my God, she's done ruined the piece. It's all good. I promise. And it was my fault for not using the stuff right, and whatever. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, so I'm just putting a thin layer of resin over the lady, and then again over top of the heart and the babies, and then a little bit on the actual stand itself, just to kind of fill it in. Now, you can see those three little pieces that actually hold like your picture in or this clear piece in. I'm not using those. I've decided to go a different route with it since I have, and this is 24 hours later and it's cured. But since I have incorporated these pictures into the resin as opposed to just using this heart as a back piece and putting the picture just setting in there, I'm just going to UV resin it and I'm going to glue it on so it's there permanently and I don't have anything to worry about. The piece comes out absolutely gorgeous. Like, I really, really love it. I get the color scheme is kind of weird, but you've got to be a Harry Potter fan to, I feel, truly appreciate and understand what this piece really, truly is. And it's my first success with this mold, so I'm super stoked about that. I think she's gorgeous. I love the quote on there. I really, really do. It's great. And now I'm just getting a little bit of J. Diction's UV resin and I'm just putting a thin line along the heart. And then I'm going to take my silicone tool and kind of just spread it out because I want to make sure that I get a really good seal on this. Now, I decided you can go different ways with this. The heart's clear, so when the piece is up, you can see through it right now. Once you tack it down like this and you put the UV resin and it's holding it in place, you could go through if you didn't want it clear. I mean, there's a couple different ways you could go. You could have put the background or whatever color in first in the actual heart part of the mold itself, or after this is sealed and you don't stand the chance of ruining anything or it leaking anywhere, you could technically go behind it because you have a little bit of space there that if you wanted to fill that up, you most definitely could. You could put a background color on the back and then you could fill up the top part with clear if you wanted to, or do whatever, and have it totally solid as opposed to this. Personally, I kind of like the clear. There's something about it. It makes it stand out a little differently and I like it, so that's how I'm keeping it. But you could go different routes with it and do it many different ways if you want. And there she is. So I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will catch you in the next one. Love ya. Bye.